Hey everybody, this is Kaylin Anderson from Pour Special Events. Welcome back to my channel. And in this video, we're going to talk about Google Sheet automation. So in a previous video, I talked about how we automate our business a little bit more. And I mentioned that I use a Google Sheet to really help me with scheduling bartenders and keeping all of our information easy to read, accurate, organized, all of those things. So, one of the questions that I got about that automation system is, well, what is in that Google Sheet? What does it look like? What categories do you have? So I went through my sheet. I'm not going to share my specific sheet with everyone just because it has very specific, names, dates, locations, all of that stuff. But I will share in this video the different categories we have. And kind of the justification for why I use those things and why they make sense. I will also say that in our Google Sheet, what I did was anybody who bartends with us, for us, whatever their preferred email is, they get added to this sheet. Then they can see in real time as I'm filling things in. And I actually have bartenders that'll start like, hey, yep, I can take that event, like if you need me. And they'll put like a note in one of our columns that says like, I would be interested in working this event. So that's super helpful. So let's dive right into it. If you find these videos helpful and you're getting anything out of them, please hit subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Leave comments. These videos are coming straight from questions that you guys are having as you're engaging with them. And I really appreciate it. Sometimes I've said this in other videos, my business, I'm kind of a well-oiled machine. I know what I'm doing, constantly trying to find new things to help me grow, but sometimes I don't know what is or is not self-explanatory to someone on the outside looking in. So please share your questions in the comments. And again, as I've said in previous videos as well, this is just what works for me. You do not need to take it as, gospel. You might just get some ideas off of these things to help you in your business, whether you're doing mobile coffee shops, mobile bartending, any kind of mobile business, and what that looks like for you. Things that work in my area might not work in your area. So this is just to give some ideas and kind of further help you on your journey. Okay, so for our Google Sheets, the first thing that I always start with is I do the actual numeric date of what the event is going to be. In my head, I need as much information as possible. The more that I put in the sheet ahead of time, the easier my life becomes. So I am always going to put the date. I'm always going to then put the actual day of the week. 9 times out of 10, they're Saturday events, but you never know. So I always just put the number date and then the day of the week. Then I follow by the event type because doing a funeral is way different than doing a wedding. So we always do the event type. The next thing that's super important to me is the location. What venue are we going to? I try really hard lately to really pair with, there's like 10 to 15 local venues that we have very, very good relationships with. Any client that inquires, I really try to vet them first and see if they're at one of those venues and really put them on my schedule and work with them to get them set up with us, to work with us, because those venues, I know the owners, I have good relationships with them. I know if they have event planners, how to work with them, how to communicate with them, what they do or do not provide at their venue, and it just makes everything so much smoother. We're all on the same page. So I'm really trying to vet my potential clients to see if they're a really good match for us and where we would like to work and who we're working with. The next thing is the host names. So sometimes you'll see clients, if it's a wedding, the mother of the groom is paying for all things, bartending. Okay, make sure you include who's paying because that's very important, but also who your, guests of honor are. So you want to have both. You want to make sure that if you are not physically going to be there, if your bartenders are going to be there, or if your baristas are going to be there, whoever's going to be working the event, they know those clients. They get a feel for those clients. They know the correct names. They know who they're working for. Just very professional and really make that contact well. The next thing is the hours of service needed. So these specific venues that we're working with usually have a 5-hour time limit. So for what we do with the bartending, 5 hours. It's great because then we know exactly when we're starting, when we're ending. We can then account for how far ahead we need to be there to set up, how much time it takes to clean up, and what is expected in between. So that's something you'll also want to look into or think about in your business if you're not working with a specific venue, if they're doing something out of their backyard or if they're doing something kind of off-site somewhere. What time frames are you going to allow? What time frames work for the state that you live in? Are there any restrictions? So we usually stay on a 5-hour limit. Also, I get the number of guests. So 9 times out of 10, this will change. Usually it will change up until about 2 months before the event, if it's a wedding. But just give me a roundabout idea. Like when you're thinking of inviting people, how many people are you thinking of inviting? Because this helps me give you the custom quote to really give you the services that you need. If you tell me you're going to have an event with 400 people, I'm not giving you just one bartender. That's just something we can't do. So it's really important to know how many people you're thinking of having. And then the next column is kind of for us. So it's what services are they choosing or are they thinking about? And also how many staff do we think we need? So if Sally just requested to book with us, she is having a wedding, I filled in all of her information, and she wants the ultimate mobile bar package. So we're bringing the mobile bar. She needs 2 bartenders with it. She's doing all the consumables, the mixers, all of that. Like we're doing all of that. It's part of the package. I will make sure that is all in that column. This way my bartenders, when they start looking at our sheet for the events, they'll say, oh yeah, she needs 2 bartenders here. She's going to use the trailer. It's at this location. I would really like to work that one. And then they can put their name in. And let's see what else we have. So I also leave a spot for special notes. So if a bartender can't work an event that weekend, they could leave a note in there saying like, I'm not available this weekend, don't ask. Okay. I also say things like that too. Sometimes I get invited to these events as an actual guest. Therefore I cannot help. I'm a guest. So I'll say like, Kaylin is a guest that weekend. We need, we still need 3 people or we still need 2 people. So we always leave a column for notes. The next part is our color coding. So to me, in my mind, green means go. Like we're good. Everything is set. So I'll fill in all the information. It only goes green once the contract is signed and the agreed upon deposit is paid. It goes green meaning we are locked in. We are doing that event unless they cancel on us or they reschedule on us. It is green. Pink is for all inquiries. So it's just in my brain, it's the opposite of green. And I don't know if that's right, but in my brain, it's the opposite of green. It means we have an inquiry. They have, different rentals or things that they need. Here's like all of the information. I have pretty much everything set. It's all there, but the contract is not signed and the deposit has not been paid yet. So until it is, we can take other clients for that event date. So once I get all of those specifics in, it either goes green if it's done or pink if it's still an inquiry. The last couple things here I did as to help me with, for tax purposes, to help me keep things organized, just something for me. So the next one, I created a column for mileage tracking and the vehicles that we're using. So in my case, since we are trailering bars, since we do have these rentals, I want to know what vehicle had to be used for that event so that I can calculate the mileage that was used. I also want to know if any of the trailers were used, because these are all things that can be deductions at the end of the year for wear and tear on the vehicle, wear and tear on the trailer, and the mileage associated with them. Sometimes when we're going to an event where we need multiple trailers or we have, multiple deliveries we have to make, we might use more than one vehicle. So I need to know what they are. So creating a column that talks about the vehicles used and then the mileage. Once you figure out the standard rate for mileage deduction, I think it went up. It used to be like 53 cents or something. But once you figure out whatever that is, I just calculate the overall mileage and then I can let my preparer figure out, what that cost equates to. But that's why I always put in the location of the venue as well, because then I know where it is and I can figure out how many miles away from our office it is. So for me, my offices are out of my home. We take an office deduction. So when we leave the house to go to the venue, that's our starting. And then from the venue back, that's our finishing. And then we are keeping all of our events tracked in the same sheet. So just under new tabs. This way I can see, okay, what did 2022 do? What is 2023 going to do? What is 2024 going to do? How many, which bartenders did which events? Who is most familiar with this venue? I can see all those things, but they're nice and neat. They each have their own tab. They're all in the same sheet. They're all in the same place. It's organized. It's easy. Making things as simple as possible. So those are kind of the big things that we use when we are kind of automating our process here, keeping things organized in Google Sheets. Let me know if there's anything that I didn't mention that you're thinking, hey, like, wouldn't that be pertinent to know? Or is, did you lift that out or did you forget something? I would love to hear it. Let me know if you try something like this and if the sheet idea works for you and helps you out when you're scheduling and organizing everything for your business as well. Again, if you got anything helpful out of this, please write me a comment, like, subscribe. It's all super helpful. And I really appreciate you all on this journey with me. Thanks.